It's a great question. For people who didn't hear, out in Geneva, about 45 miles due east of here, right off of I-90, there's a place called Spire Institute that's being built. Some of you may have seen it. It was called Great for a little while. They just changed the name to Spire. It will be, bar none, and it already is one of the finest sports facilities in the world. There's a gentleman by the name of Ron Clutter, a businessman who created a nonprofit. He's from Geneva, and it was his dream to have this out there. And they've already spent over $60 million, and there's a lot more underway. In fact, they're going to have a grand opening later this month for their new aquatics facility, which will have 5 different pools. It is, and I'll tell you, their track facility is many people say now is the finest indoor and outdoor track facility in the world. We're hosting the NCAA men's and women's championship there and some others. But I'll tell you this, it's very interesting. It is a phenomenal facility, and we work, Ron Clutter is on our board, and we work very closely with them. But it's a little bit of a quandary. It's, in some cases, the facility is phenomenal, and events will very naturally fit out there. In some cases, the one difficult part is it's a little bit removed from Cleveland. And I mean, it's 45 miles, it's all freeway, but there's not a lot of additional infrastructure. The hotel rooms out there there's not a big cluster out there. There's not yet quite a lot to see and do right there. So we've wrestled a little bit, quite frankly, as an organization, in working with them. What kind of policies do we create? Because we think we're a very regional thinking organization. And we host a big USA Wrestling event every year in Akron because the field house at University of Akron is the perfect fit for that event. And we really look for where something fits the best. More often than not, it's right here in downtown because of the facilities, the hotels, the amenities. But there are times where you can look at an event like the U.S. Masters Track and Field Championships. It very easily could have been out there, but we held it at Baldwin Wallace. Now we bid on the event prior to Spire opening, but an event like that comes around again. It's phenomenal. It will bring a lot of new events to town. The Big Ten, they're hosting, as I mentioned, their men's and women outdoor track and field championships there in 13 and 14. The reason they chose it is it's the only track facility in the country that can host both men and women simultaneously. It has that many lanes. It has double of everything. Twice the number of jumping pits and throwing lanes, everything you need. So that event would not be in Northeast Ohio otherwise. But there's going to be others that could fit at Spire at their pool, or it could fit at Cleveland State. So I will tell you, it's phenomenal. It's here, but I think many of us are still wrestling with, and will for a long time, where does the facility best fit within the context of all the facilities we have in the community?
Now, out there is mostly nurseries and farms, and I was thinking about the exit on Isley that's out there, and it suddenly became so built up. I think it was the old diamond area, where you now have motels and hotels. I mean, I'm wondering if that's going to have to be part of the business plan, because there's nothing out there.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. It is absolutely part of their plan. They are actively seeking a hotel operator to build a hotel, and if any of you ever drive up Erie or drive up 90 through Erie, there's a right near the Erie exits, you get this area of 5 or 6 limited service hotels altogether, and those are there because there was a church who built a complex called Family First, this huge soccer complex of, 10 or 12 fields. And they started hosting many tournaments and events, and those hotels sprouted up because this Family First opened. So you could absolutely see that happening. But I'll tell you one interesting thing. With part of the business plan with Spire is they've brought in some of the top people in the country, some of the top former IMG folks from Cleveland, the guy who ran the IMG Academies down in Bradenton, Florida. And they are going to be building dorms, and part of their business model is they're not going to survive on weekend tournaments and a soccer club coming to use the indoor facility for an hour for practice. They want to build. They're going to build a residential facility, and they're taking some less traditional sports like track and field, lacrosse that don't have academies anywhere in the country. And they are going to build residential sports campuses there. So Michael Johnson, for instance, the famous track athlete, he's already put his name on the track facility. And so it'll be the Michael Johnson Track Academy. And they're going to attract kids from all over the country who are aspiring, especially to get college scholarships or run in the Olympics, to live there. They just cut a deal with the Geneva School. I don't even know if this has been announced. I think it was. So, but they've cut a deal with the Geneva schools where the academy kids will they will have use of the schools after hours. So they were thinking of building a school. Instead of building a school, they're going to use the Geneva schools, which Geneva High School 1 mile away, and those kids will do their classroom work after the Geneva kids have left. And the quid pro quo is they're building, instead of right at Spire 1 mile away, they're going to build 10 to 12 outdoor soccer fields and baseball fields using the Geneva High School property. So it's an absolute win-win. But the good news, I think they're thinking much bigger and broader in terms of their business model for how they really make the place work financially.